Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Creativity TV. I am your creativity producer and professional mess maker. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Teresa, and this week we are going to be discussing music and rhythm. Now, this week I posted I posted this week's free weekly training series, which was on music and rhythm. You can get the text version of the free weekly training in the Facebook group. Creativity TV, we are going to go even deeper into music and rhythm. And I am going to share with you tips, tools, and my top 10 favorite activities for making music or creating music and studying rhythm. So, if you want to share, trying to reduce the glare here, sorry, let me know if that's better. If at any point, as I am sharing either our tips, our tools, or my top 10, leave me a comment on your favorite ways to make music or to practice rhythm, or what other areas of learning do you use music? Maybe to build a skill in a different area, or maybe you use music or rhythm to study a broader theme. So let's get started with this week's tips. I'm going to give you 3 tips, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the 3 tips. So tip number 1 is I always try to encourage people, depending on the age of the children that you're working with, to use songs that have repeating words or repeating phrases. I was going to give you a couple of examples, but every example I'm coming up with is actually a book. I was thinking of Go Away Big Green Monster or Brown Bear, but those are both books. An example of repeating phrases is, I'm going to get the name of the song wrong. I think it's called 5 Little Ducks. It goes a little like 5 little ducks went out to play over the hill and far away. And then something about one little duck with the feather on his head came back with a quack quack. You probably know the song I'm talking about, but that's an example of songs that have repeating words. You are incorporating numbers with that song, but for, whether it's 5 little ducks or 4 little ducks or 3 little ducks, they all go out to play. One less duck in the group comes back, and they all have a feather on their head. So that's one example of a song with repeating words. As we talk here, leave me your comments if you could think of another song that has repeating words. I'm drawing a complete blank. I'm sorry. So tip number 2, make your own music to put words to and talk about how you can create different sounds. This is a lot of fun. This activity engages a lot of different skills at once. So I like to make instruments throughout the year. You can build different skills with your different instruments. It's a great way to build listening skills. Rhythm and listening skills go together really, really well because kids have to concentrate to listen to the pattern that you are giving an example of, and then they have to repeat it back to you. So they have to listen to the sound and watch what you're doing to make the sound. Oh, goodness. There goes the dogs, of course. I'll try to talk over them. I apologize for that. If you can't hear me, you can also leave that in the comments, and I'll do my best to raise my voice until they stop. Hopefully it'll just be a few minutes. So, a great way to make your own music, or some of the fun ways that I've done it over the years, is... Excuse me, I'm going to sneak a sip of coffee. Perfect timing because they stopped barking. Is to use recyclables. You can use plastic coffee creamer containers. Still trying to get rid of our glare here. That might be better. You can use plastic coffee creamer containers. And because they're plastic, you can let kids decorate the outsides of them. You can use paper plates and fill them with rice and beans or bells and staple or hole punch the outside, and then let kids string material through the holes all the way around, and then tie a knot at the back, and they can make their own tambourines. You can make paper mache maracas. You can make all kinds of fun things. But another fun way that you can make sound, and kind of pull science into it, is using actual glasses of water with different levels of water in them, and give kids a spoon to tink on the side of each glass, and pay attention to how each glass that has a different amount of water in it sounds differently. You can then use these instruments, whether it's jingle bells or your maracas or a drum, and you can demonstrate a pattern for the children, and then give each participant a number and use that number to create your own rhythmic music. So each person, say you give the drummer the number 2, which means that they would pound the drum 2 times. And then as the drummer is pounding the drum 2 times, maybe you have the person with the maraca shake it 6 times. You can make up your own numbers and your own instruments, and play around with the different ways that you could create music. Now, you can also talk about how different types of music have different rhythms. There's fast music, there's slow music, there's loud music, there's quiet music. Some of my favorite tools, as I was saying, for creating instruments and practicing rhythm and making music one of them is recyclables. Recyclables are something that most of us have pretty handy, whether it's Kleenex boxes or, like I said, recyclable creamer containers, or paper plates, which aren't really recyclables because they're you're not going to use dirty paper plates, you're going to use clean ones. One of the other tools that you can use is using household items. So you can get kitchen spoons, whether they're soup spoons or they're, I have plastic mixing spoons. You can use plastic mixing spoons and flip them backwards so that the back of the spoon parts are on top of each other, and use a rubber band or some string to hold the handles together and get the kids to click them to make a sound and practice rhythm with their spoons. Another really fun thing that I like to use music and rhythm for is getting kids active. You can do this with things like musical chairs. You can do it with, a really fun one is going on a bear hunt. It's a great use of sounds that are associated with things found in nature, and then the kids have to use their bodies to recreate the sounds. So they might have to rub their hands together to make the swish of the grass as they're running through the grass away from the bear, or they might have to maybe use a rain stick to make the sound of climbing up a tree trunk to get up into the tree away from the bear. All kinds of fun ways that you can get kids engaged in learning rhythm and creating their own music. Now, I'd like to move on to my top 10 favorite activities for creating music and or rhythm. Now, a lot of these are different instruments that I have created over the years, and I'll explain a little bit about how I have made each one. But this would be a perfect time for you guys to share your favorite activities and how you guys like to create rhythm and music with your little friends. Number 1 is tambourines. And like I was saying before, you can use paper plates with beads, or you could put even paper clips inside, or trying to think of something else you could put. You could put seashells inside. You could put all kinds of stuff inside that would make different sounds. Number 2 is drums. You can use all sorts of different containers for drums. Another fun one to make really little drums is toilet paper rolls. And you can put really tight material over both of the ends, and they can use their finger to tap on the drum. Number 3 is guitars. This one is really fun. You use a oblong or a rectangle tissue box, and you punch holes all along the opening where the little plastic flaps are, and you string rope or string through it, something that will, when you strum on it, will make noise. And you make I don't know what the top of the guitar is called, the stem of the guitar, I guess. You could make it out of cardboard with the strings going up and then tied around the back. Number 4, maracas. Maracas you can make out of, the way I've always done it is paper mache balloons. So you blow up a little balloon and you cover it with paper mache strips, let it dry, let them pop the balloon, and then they can decorate their maracas. Number 5, again, is the, I think that would be considered a xylophone if you were to put all the different size glasses in a row, and fill each one with a different level of water and tap on the side of each glass to make a different sound. You can also, if you want to get really creative, you can make a piano. I've seen people do it, and I can't think off the top of my head how it's done, but you can actually find the activity on the internet, which is why I included it in this week's top 10, because I thought it was a really cute idea. They made it out of a box, that part I do remember. And it had its own little keys, and when you would press each key, it would make its own little sound. Number 7 is household items. You can let the kids use, if you have a metal strainer or a colander, they can turn it over and they can use it as a drum. They can knock it with a spoon, or they could take a fork and run it over the different holes to see the different sounds that it would make. What other household item could you use? I might actually turn that into a part 2 of our weekly challenge for this training, because that would be kind of fun to hear you guys share your creative ideas. I'll think of some more household items, because there's all kinds of household items you could use as musical instruments or to create different sounds. But number 8 is something that I do at different times of the year for different reasons. I do it in the fall when we celebrate and create our own wild ruckus. A wild ruckus is another one of my favorite activities. You can, once you create your own musical instruments, you can make your own wild ruckus and put together your own, either your own family band or your own classroom band, depending on whether you're a parent viewing this or a teacher viewing this. I taught for years and years, and so I always did a wild ruckus with my class. I let every child choose what kind of instrument they wanted to put together, and then each person had a part in the song, and we practiced and we put it together. It was a lot of fun. I also let the kids, because we did it in the fall, so kind of tied it into Halloween, I let the kids dress up. So we kind of tied where the wild things are into it and let them dress up in a fun, non-scary way. And so we had a lot of fun with that. So maybe we'll make that number 11 and we'll add wild ruckus to my top 10 favorite activities for this theme. Rain sticks is taking little paper towels or little toilet paper, rolls, or larger paper towel rolls, and you fill them with rice or beans, and then some people like to put like little rods or sticks all the way through at different areas to make differences in the sound as it goes from top to bottom. I generally don't, because I usually do it with younger children, so I usually just let them put in a combination of rice and beans, and then you block up both ends and you let them slowly turn it back and forth, and it still sounds really cool. Number 9 is whistles. You can, again, make a whistle with, I've always used a toilet paper roll, and you punch the different holes in it, different size holes to make different sounds, and you can block the holes partially or to different degrees, or use different things to block the different holes, and they make different sounds when you blow through them. And then you can make bells. I generally do this with Play-Doh, and I let the kids roll out a flat piece of Play-Doh, and then we curl it and squeeze it together, and put a little noisemaker on the inside, also made of Play-Doh, and then you make a bell, and it actually rings. I made one a long time ago as a kid. Well, not really as a kid. I think I was in like junior high or high school. And I actually glazed it and everything. You don't have to get that detailed with your younger friends. Although, if they are inclined and they want to learn to work with pottery, you could do that too if you had access to clay. But making bells is another fun keepsake activity that you can put together. You can make bells also out of Dixie cups. If you wanted to do like a recyclable version, drill or punch a hole in the top of the Dixie. Well, it would be the top because you would turn it upside down. And then string a string through it and tie the knot on the outside. And at the opposite end, you could put like a big wooden bead or a piece of like a metal, maybe a metal bead, I guess you would call it if you had one. And then they could shake it. And they could use that as an instrument in your wild ruckus. So these are my top 10 favorite activities to make when getting kids engaged in learning about music and rhythm. I hope that you guys enjoy these. I hope that you put your own spin on them as well. When I share these episodes with you guys, I give you my ideas or the way that I've done them, and I fully encourage you guys to take the inspiration of the idea and put your own spin on it. We all have a different way of looking at activities, and so I try to offer a framework for an idea and allow you the freedom and the creativity to put your own spin on it, and maybe even use the activity itself for a completely different theme, to learn a whole new skill that we don't even talk about. And that's why I ask that you guys either drop into the group or join us on these calls and share your creative uses for these tips, tools, and activities. So that's your weekly training for this week, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I look forward to continuing the conversation in the Facebook group. Have a great day, guys.